Hi, I'm Dr. FeelRight, giving you common sense solutions to everyday problems. And today's topic is entitled The Vaccine Myth. And no, this is not a conspiracy-laden anti-vaccine trope which will provide conspiracy theories of population control or government tracking. I will leave that to others who believe such things. Rather, I will point out some of the misconceptions about getting vaccines and being protected from viral infections. So without further deliberation, let's get started. Vaccines have been in use since the late 1700s when Edward Jenner performed the first vaccination on a 13-year-old child for smallpox. Now, since then, there have been scientists such as Louis Pasteur with his vaccine for anthrax to Jonas Salk and Albert Sabin with the vaccines in the 50s and 60s for polio. The polio vaccine is an interesting point of reference, and it could be used to compare its efficacy with the current battle with COVID. The United States has eradicated polio, but the salient point is that the process took nearly 30 years from the beginning of the fight using inoculations in 1950 to its defeat in 1979. So what does that mean in relationship to the current virus threat that we're posed with COVID, you might ask? Well, the answer is that polio was a much less virulent and less transmissible virus than COVID, then still, even with that, it took 3 decades. And there's a misconception that eradicating a virus or stopping a pandemic, in this case, is as simple as everyone get a shot or series of shots, and in a year or so the virus is eradicated. Not so using the example of polio. And with that, there are 2 factors that are going against that belief. The first one is the law of large numbers, and the second is the person's own individual immune system. Now let's talk about the latter first, the immune system. When you get a vaccine, what happens is the person is injected with a deactivated form of the virus. They take whatever it is, let's say in the case of COVID, they deactivate the COVID virus, and with the viral material, they make a serum with it and inject it into the person, and the person creates antibodies based on that concoction using the virus material. And with that, those antibodies that are created, the person is supercharged in a sense. Their immune system is prepared for the virus, and the person can fight the virus because of the antibodies. Now, the thing is, most people erroneously conclude that that's all it is, that means that they're now protected from getting the virus, when in actuality, it simply means that the body has formed those antibodies that I spoke of to battle the virus. The most important point is that a person who has a severely weakened immune system is not going to mount much of a challenge against the virus that they come across, and could be easily infected even with a vaccine. This is the truth that the public is not being told, and it's based on this fact. To a virus, you are either a hospitable host or you are a resistant host. That's all it matters to a virus, one or the other. So let's address the law of large numbers. This is a statistical term which means that if you repeat an experiment independently a large number of times and average the result, then what you obtain should be predictably close to what you expected to happen. So what this means is that using the case of a vaccine which is 95% effective by studies, that means that it will be 5% ineffective. Or if you use the one that is 60% effective, that will mean that it's 40% ineffective. Now let's do some extrapolation. Let's just pretend that we could inoculate the entire world of 7.8 billion people. I know that's impossible, but let's say hypothetically speaking, you could do that. So you can adjust this in your mind for if we could inoculate most people, or just simply use that as a measuring stick in your head. If we were to use that, that would mean that anywhere from 390 million to 3.1 billion people in the population of the inoculated world would still become infected. So the law of large numbers can give you an idea about efficacy and to show you that it's not an overnight fix, regardless of whatever disinformation and false hope that you're given. Now, add to the fact that COVID has mutated at least 5 times, and we're facing the prospect of it mutating more, then we could be looking at a similar battle with polio. Hopefully not, but we could be talking about a 20 to 30 year battle against COVID. In fact, COVID could be in a situation where it's like the cold or the flu, where it never left. It was always in the background of our lives. So here's a good example about that in the common cold. And you think about this. People have talked about, why can't you come up with a cure for the common cold? And they've tried this, they've looked at that. But the thing is that the common cold has mutated so many times that creating a vaccine to prevent it is impossible. So what's the answer, you ask? You still get vaccinated. We don't take that off the table. You should look at the vaccine and get it. But you should also make it a priority to supercharge your immune system by taking at least 400 milligrams of vitamin D on a daily basis. You should also try to take a zinc supplement that has at least 25 milligrams of zinc and 500 milligrams of vitamin C daily. These vitamins have a proven efficacy in strengthening your immune system, and other factors are you should look to reduce stress levels, which act on your immune system by producing cortisol, and also try to get proper rest, which is 7 to 9 hours of sleep daily. Now, don't overdo any of this. Don't superload yourself with zinc or vitamin C or those supplements, and don't sleep 14 to 15 hours a day, because more in that case is not better. In fact, it could be detrimental. There are thousands of studies proving the efficacy of vitamin D supplementation, but if you can't do that, the best thing to do is to get some sunshine. Get yourself 30 minutes of sunshine if you can, or shoot for 30 to 50 minutes at a time for 3 to 5 days in a week. Now, if you protect your hands like I always insist through wearing gloves and sanitizing your hands, and you wear a mask and you keep your social distance, it is possible that we can shorten this battle that we have with COVID, and it may not take 30 years to defeat it. So if we just do the best we can in protecting ourselves and charging our immune system along with the vaccine, we could see better days in the next 2 to 3 years. I'm Dr. FeelRight. Thanks for watching and have a great day.